Yes, guys, this is the political room in Kenya and the world. My name is Moses Utieno, and welcome to the show. Now, I want to take you through some of the headlines that have rocked the country today and the global stage. I want to take you through some of the headlines that have rocked the country, uh, today. Some of the things that, of course, have rocked the country, and of course, we're gonna look at politics, what is political today and beyond. Welcome again to the show, the political room in Kenya and the world. Now, ODM leaders call for people-centered dialogue as push for NDC grows. ODM leaders have now called for a people-centered dialogue as call for unity push uh, uh, also grows. Okay, a section of Orange Democratic Movement ODM party leaders have called for the voice of the people to be heard in resolving the sticking issues rocking the faction. Some of the leaders who attended a closed-door meeting at a Nairobi hotel on Thursday, that is yesterday, include Babu Owino, Ruth Odinga, Siaya Governor James Orengo, Suba North, Millie Odhiambo. They called for unity. So this is what we shall look at. ODM leaders have called for people-centered dialogue as push for NDC National Delegates Conference or Council draws. And as we speak, there are two sections of ODM. There are members who are pro-Ruto and there are members who are anti-Ruto. In ODM, we now have members who are pro-Ruto, such as Junet Mohammed, such as Robert Alai, such as Hassan Joho, such as Fernandez Baraza. They are supporting William Ruto beyond the 2027 election. They are supporting William Ruto. Then we have another group of people in ODM who are anti-Ruto. They include Babu Owino, Millie Odhiambo, James Orengo, former Makadara Member of Parliament Ruben Ndolo, among others. They are anti-Ruto. Okay? They are anti-William Ruto. So ODM is divided into two. So yesterday we saw a section of leaders within the party led by Babu Owino and even Sifuna. They were in a closed-door meeting and they are now calling for the National Delegates Council, NDC, so that elections are done. And I've said this, ODM minus Raila Odinga is not ODM. As we speak, we have ODM Tangatanga. Let me use those words. ODM Tangatanga and ODM Keleweke. There are those who are supporting the President of the Republic of Kenya, William Ruto. There are those who are anti-William Ruto. The likes of Edwin Sifuna, the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of Caleb Amisi, the likes of Ruth Odinga, the likes of Winnie Odinga, the likes of Ruben Ndolo. They are anti-William Ruto. James Orengo, they are anti-William Ruto. What it means by anti-William Ruto, they don't support what we call broad-based government. one thing unique about these two factions in ODM, the first faction are saying that the second faction are selling ODM to Uhuru Kenyatta. The second faction are saying the first faction are selling ODM to William Ruto. So ODM is divided into two, with one group loyal to Uhuru Kenyatta and the other group loyal to President William Ruto. ODM will not survive beyond 2027, past 2027. ODM is going to disintegrate even in late in 2026. I don't see a possibility where ODM are going to, be united until 2027. Even before 2027, ODM might break into two. Because Raila knew how to handle rebellion from within. Raila Odinga knew how to handle rebellion from within. I don't see Oburu Odinga handling rebellion from within very well. Because, truth be told, if Oburu Odinga was the party leader of ODM, how do Aida Odinga come to stop the fire, to quell the fire? It is Aida who quelled the fire between Edwin Sifuna and Junet Mohammed, between Robert Alai and Babu Owino. It is Aida Odinga. How did Aida Odinga come to quell the fire, to cool down the political fire, which was, this is all your unsolicited opinion, okay? According to what we saw, Aida Odinga reached out to Edwin Sifuna. Edwin Sifuna issued a statement and said that it is not him who will wreck ODM. It is not him who will destroy ODM. He will stick to ODM until time decides. But remember, we have the party leader of ODM. What made Oburu Odinga not to attend the birthday of Raila, where Aida Odinga was? Forget about the ceremony. Where Aida Odinga was, where Sifuna was, Oburu Odinga was missing in action. What made Oburu Odinga not to join Sifuna, not to join Aida in commemorating the Raila Odinga birthday on 7th? So all this points to the fact that ODM is dying slowly by slowly. And it is dying faster, not slowly. ODM is dying faster. It is dying a faster death politically. And soon, before even 2027, we could have a party which is completely divided. We also, what happened when a section of leaders within ODM threatened to kick out Sifuna from ODM. What happened? Because Sifuna comes from Western Kenya. Leaders from Western Kenya said this: if Sifuna is kicked out, they will walk out of the party. They will walk out of the party and follow Edwin Sifuna. Let me make quick shouts to my top fans. Of course, we have GZA. Thank you so much for always tuning in to the show. We are discussing in the political room the fate of ODM, the fate of Orange Democratic Movement after the demise of Raila Odinga. Yesterday, Miguna said one thing, that the leader of the cult is gone. I think he meant Raila Odinga. He almost, yes, Nyaga Hamunde. He compared ODM to a cult and Raila Odinga to a cult leader. And Beguna said yesterday that ODM, okay, cult leader, the leader of ODM gone means he has gone with everything. He was managing the party with the wisdom that was managing ODM party under Raila Odinga is not there. So we have clowns. ODM would have been stronger, na hii nataka kusema, ODM would have been stronger if they were not, they would not allow Ruto and Uhuru and other party leaders to rock them from within. But the fact that party officials, senior officials, allowed intruders into the party, that is how when things started to go south. Let me look at another story that is also causing jitters across the country. The issue of school placements. The issue of school placements. Why do we have good schools in Mount Kenya if Raila had endorsed or sponsored one ODM member? I think Raila did not even endorse. If Raila had endorsed someone, that person would have been strong. But again, in Luo Nyanza, there is what we call Juogi, the spirit. That leadership comes with some spirituality. There is something in Luo called Juogi. That spirit. That leadership comes with some spirituality, especially political leadership. And based on what we now see, it is Babu Owino who is almost trying to be another Raila Odinga or to make another Raila Odinga. It is Babu Owino. But be it as it may, Raila never knew he would die soon. Raila never knew he would die soon. That is number one. Number two, I think Kenyans are doing away with the era of having a kingpin. Because we also saw when Uhuru Kenyatta retired, he never gave the people of Mount Kenya their leader. I think the people choose their leader. Not endorsed ones, not endorsed leaders. The people choose their leaders. And I think Raila Odinga never endorsed any leader as kingpin of the Luo. The people choose. And the Luo people will choose. It is a matter of time. Now, people are still fighting within ODM. But the people of Luo Nyanza will choose their leader, will choose their kingpin. The kingpin might be within ODM or outside of ODM, but leadership or kingpinship is being chosen from the people. And I think that is why Raila never bothered to endorse any of his loyalists. He could have endorsed John Mbadi. He could have endorsed Wandai. He could have endorsed his brother. He could have endorsed Babu Owino. But, answering your question, the people chooses leaders. Let me just borrow some leaf of history. In 1994, as we read from the books, I was young then. Jaramogi Oginga Odinga died, and the Luo leadership was in vacuum. There was a vacuum in Luo, or of Luo leadership, and Raila was chosen afterwards. Raila emerged later on. Jaramogi had preferred James Orengo to lead the Luo, but Raila re-emerged. So a leader emerges by himself. A leader re-emerges or emerges by himself. Based on the current leaders we have Babu Owino, we have Wandai, we have John Mbadi, we have Gladys Wanga. A leader will emerge and lead the Luo. That is how leadership is. Even in Mount Kenya, after Kibaki, after Matiba was Kibaki. After Kibaki, Uhuru came. After Uhuru, there was a leadership vacuum, but then Rigiji picked from there. So as we speak, Rigiji emerged from nowhere to lead the Mount Kenya. And he does it to the sense that if you go to a function where Rigiji is and you chant there 2 terms, a slogan of William Ruto or from William Ruto's party, you will be stoned alive because of loyalty. The Mount Kenya electorates are loyal to Rigathi Gachagua. So, answering your question, Bwana Nyaga, leadership comes from the people. After Raila Odinga, now that the Luo leadership is in vacuum, there is a vacuum of leadership in Luo Nyanza. A leader who would give direction. There is that vacuum. Let us speak the truth. There is a vacuum of leadership in Luo Nyanza after the death of Raila Odinga. Oburu Odinga is just trying to, carry the legacy. He's just trying to organize himself and lead. But again, unfortunately, it is too late for him. Oburu is how many years old? 82, 81. Oburu is 81. Oburu Odinga is 81. Which means anytime the Luo nation could again see darkness. Now, if somebody is 81, can this person lead the Luo nation for 3 decades? It is impossible. Therefore, there is a leadership, there is a vacuum in Luo leadership. But again, the people will choose their kingpin or leader or spokesperson. We may have other leaders trying to force themselves as spokespersons. But the people will do that. The people will choose who leads them to where, whether to the government or opposition. Like Raila led the Luos to the government and to the opposition. This is a statement which came from Babu. We have been having grassroots elections, but it is time we call an NDC to give the people a chance to elect their own leaders. Babu Owino stated. If people in Central, in Nyanza, in Nairobi, hear that Babu Owino is the party leader of ODM, ODM will be very serious. Ni Babu kwa sababu bila Babu tabu. Baada ya baba ni Babu, he added. Yesterday they met. Babu Owino, James Orengo, Millie Odhiambo, Edwin Sifuna, or this guy, Makadara, former Makadara MP, Ruben Dolo, among many other people who attended that meeting yesterday. And Babu Owino told them that bila after Baba ni Babu. After Baba, it is him, Babu. And Babu Owino stated that if people from various parts of the country hears that Babu Owino or receives the news that Babu Owino is the party leader of ODM, ODM will be again a very serious party. Truth be told, ODM needs another young, vibrant Kenyan to lead. Another young, vibrant Kenyan to lead that party. That party should not be put as a family property. That party should not be a family property of the Odingas. It should choose another person who doesn't come from the Odingas to lead it. A person who is popular, like Babu Owino is very popular in Kenya. He is among the topmost popular young leaders or leaders. Talk of leaders, yes, leaders in the country. And so, the squabbles in ODM, the wrangles in ODM can only be solved if everybody in that party is sober. Let them accept that Raila is gone and let them fix their issues. One of the things that's also making them to lag behind is not accepting that Raila is gone. Because Raila died, and once you are dead, I doubt if you can come back to life. Let's look at another story. Ruto says national schools must remain open to all children, warns politicians against divisive claims. William Ruto has said national schools must remain national schools. But truth also be told, let us tell the truth where it is deserved. You find a very good school in Mount Kenya, a national school that is, very well furnished, very well constructed, cabros everywhere, pavements, decorated, tiles in the dormitories, in the classrooms. But you find a school in Northeastern, Garissa, or maybe whichever, where they have a member of parliament, but the school looks like a cattle dip. You find a school in Northeastern. You find a school either in Nyanza. The member of parliament for that area pocket CDF money, uses CDF money to build bungalows. But you find a member of parliament in maybe Kiaru using CDF money to build schools. Children learn in a very good, conducive atmosphere. And the school is made a national school or declared a national school. There is a school, let's say in Wajir, but the member of parliament from that area is using CDF money meant to build schools among other infrastructural structures for his own or our own aggrandizement. We have to say no. This issue of national school, provincial school, what school, is what makes things tough in the country. I mean, how is it possible that a school, that you find that there is a school that has everything, as laboratory, as computer lab, as biology lab, as chemistry, you get? But you find that there is a school in Mandera which doesn't have structures. Leave alone, which We have some schools in we have children in Turkana learning under trees, and when they pass, they are taken to Central. Right? We must have a conversation in terms of how schools are being built. We must have a conversation. We cannot talk about good schools in Nyanza, good schools in Western Kenya, good schools in Central Kenya, good schools at the coast, yet we have poor schools in other regions of Kenya. We cannot have that kind of conversation. So we must have that kind of conversation. I believe that. We must have that kind of conversation. And that is why I think on that Rigiji was right. Right now, we have, how do you call them? We have the issue of school placements. You find that a child comes from Central. He has been posted to a school or admitted to a school, a day school, very far from where they come from. But then, when Gachagua speaks, they say it is what? It is a tribalism. He is a tribalist. Some of these issues must be addressed with the seriousness that is deserved. We need to make corruption. We need to make corruption a national disaster. And corruption should be punishable by a death penalty. That is what can help this country. Hatuwezi kukuwa na shule nzuri maeneo ya Central Kenya na tukue na shule inakaa nyumba ya ng'ombe katika shule zingine za humu nchini, kama vile saa zingine Nyanza ama Turkana ama wapi, and then we claim that education is free just because you find that some members of parliament, they eat CDF money. They have turned CDF money as their personal money. Lazima tuseme. We have to say it the way it is. We need to make corruption a national disaster, and corruption should be punishable by death. It should be included under the death penalty where drug trafficking has been put. Corruption should be added there. And I want to challenge President William Ruto that if he is serious on making Kenya Singapore, then corruption must be added. Must be added in the list of things that get us back as a country. Not just PR stunts. Speaking during the National Youth Opportunities Towards Advancement Nyota Fund in Nakuru, where 9,800 youths received 25,000 Kenya shillings seed capital, the president highlighted the government plan to reduce unemployment. The president dismissed claims that students from certain regions are being disadvantaged, maintaining that the placement system is structured to ensure equity and fairness across the country. We will not allow any politician, however desperate they may be, however bankrupt they may be, to erect new boundaries for our children. We want our children to learn in every institution that is available to them in Kenya. Especially our national schools must have access to all children of Kenya equally, said Ruto. Mr. President, you are right. But issue ni moja. Kuna mashule katika nchi hii ambazo hazijajengwa. We have classrooms and schools whose structures are made of mud, because members of parliament in those constituencies are chewing CDF money like bubble gum. We cannot afford to have such. We cannot afford to have such. All right. Another story is this: Gachagua has maintained a call for merit-based placement in national schools. Merit-based placement in national schools. That is according to Rigiji. Democracy for Citizens Party leader Rigathi Gachagua has reiterated that all learners who excel academically must be placed in national schools purely on merit and not demerit. The former deputy president said Kenya must confront challenges arising from the quota placement system, particularly following the implementation of devolution. This is what Gachagua said in a statement: all children in Kenya deserve equal treatment. National schools are very critical because they have a very developed infrastructure and they attract the best among children. There must be fairness in the placement of children in national schools. He added that there is a child in Togoto who scored 71 out of 72 marks. Alliance is just a few meters away, and the child had asked to be placed in Alliance, and the cluster was right, but the child was denied while students from other regions got an opportunity. These placements must be based on merit, and I am saying it is unfair. That's according to Rigathi Gachagua. So placements must be made on merit. I have said the ODM people and the United Opposition, the ODM people, have allowed Gachagua to speak on behalf of Kenyans. Gachagua is now speaking on behalf of Kenyans nowadays. Yes, we must say it the way it is. It is Rigathi Gachagua who is nowadays speaking on behalf of Kenyans as the opposition. Gachagua has become now the national spotlight. What Gachagua is saying is very serious and should be taken seriously. Placements must be made on merit. And I think Gachagua is now becoming a very lethal force in the country. Gachagua is becoming a very lethal force in the country. I want to challenge Babu Owino to rise up. Babu Owino should also rise up. If at all they want to, replace Raila Odinga, they should be now also opposing the government. That is Rigathi Gachagua. That is Rigathi Gachagua. Let's look at another story. Let's look at another story that is also making headlines. Let's look at another story. Another story that is also making headlines is this: Supreme Court Judge Njoki Ndung'u has been elected unopposed to GSC seat. Lady Justice Njoki Ndung'u has been elected unopposed as the Supreme Court's representative to the Judicial Service Commission, JSC, stepping into the role previously held by the late Justice Mohamed Kadhar Ibrahim. The election was conducted on Friday under the supervision of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, IEBC, Returning Officer Dr. Swala Yusuf, in line with the Judicial Service Act 2011, which requires the judiciary to submit a fresh nominee within 21 days of a vacancy arising in the commission. Okay, so Njoki Ndung'u has replaced the late Ibrahim, Judge Ibrahim, who passed on after a long illness. Okay, so she represents the Supreme Court. She represents, or she will be representing the Supreme Court at the GSC. Let me make quick shouts to my top fans. Benjamin Minata, I can see you. We have GZA, I can also see you. Plus many Kenyans who are watching live this evening. I want to, say hello to you, big hello to you. Good evening from wherever you are. Good morning, in case you are not in Kenya. Good afternoon. Okay. Good evening. All right. All through. This is the political room where we break down the political intrigues around the country, and I wanna hope that you are superb. You are well. Now on Monday, this is what will happen. On Monday, I'll be doing an interview with an artist, an upcoming artist singing gospel. So I expect you people to you will ask him questions based on how we will be engaging with him. So on Monday we'll have an interview with my guest is an artist, and he will be shedding more light to us about his gospel journey. When did he begin his music career? All right. Let's move on to this story. 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 This is what Wambugu said. Raila Odinga went through real gunshots and government goons, including some sent by Geoffrey himself. But even at 75 years, he never put on such upuzi. Anajiita mtoto wa Maumau. So I think he had that that cape, that hat of army. He wore a hat of an army officer, or rather general, or whichever. So that's it. I think another thing is this that I also want us to focus on. Another thing is this that I just want us to focus on just right away. Let me focus on this. Let's focus on this again. Let's focus on this. Trump says he cancelled a second attacks on Venezuela after prisoner release. So Trump is also still talking about Venezuela, and that's how it is. That's how it is. Okay. We are going to look at top 100 schools in KCSE 2025. Top 100 schools in KCSE 2025, national ranking among others. Okay. Number 1 is Kenya High School. Number 2 is Alliance High School. Number 3 is Mangu High School. Top performing national and extra county schools. We have Maseno School. We have Moi High School, Kabarak. We have Starehe Boys Center. We have Mary Hill Girls. We have Strathmore. We have Kiage Tumaini. We have Light Academy. We have Mudasa Academy. I think that is how schools are performed. And it's very beautiful when our children do better. It's very painful when our children do better. Senator's daughter scores an A- in KCSE. That is the daughter to Boni Aluale. She has scored A-. And Boni Aluale is not one of these leaders whose children, are taken to schools abroad. Boni Aluale is not one of those leaders whose children are taken abroad, and I think that one gives Boni Aluale a lot of credit in terms of all that. Let's look at another story. Let us look at another story that is also making shockwaves across the country. Oburu Odinga to Babu Owino. I don't fear you. I will call for NDC. Tukutane huko. Luos must support Ruto. I don't think if Oburu Odinga calls for NDC, whether he will defeat Babu Owino. According to Infotrack, Babu Owino has 33%. 33% of supporters in Luo Nyanza. In Kenya, let's say that. According to Infotrack, Babu Owino has 33%. Okay, according to those who want to succeed Raila. I think if I'm to be correct, those who want to succeed Raila, in Raila's succession battle, Babu Owino has 33% among those who can fit or who can succeed Raila. Oburu Odinga has 10%. So definitely, if Oburu Odinga calls for NDC, National Delegates Conference, Babu Owino will emerge the winner. And Babu Owino will be declared. Babu Owino will be declared the ODM party leader. Yes, it is possible. I don't think Oburu Odinga can defeat Babu Owino in an election. Whichever, whether it is delegates or just people voting one-on-one, Babu Owino can defeat Oburu Odinga. Oburu Odinga should rest and hand over the mantle of leadership to other people within the party. I think Babu Owino is right to call for NDC in ODM so that they can elect, so that Babu Owino can present himself as a candidate of the Orange Democratic whatever leadership and whatever. So I doubt if Oburu Odinga can defeat Babu Owino in a fair contest. Oburu Odinga cannot defeat Babu Owino in a fair contest. Let us talk the truth. Let us say the truth, and the truth shall set us free. Tuseme ukweli. And so if Oburu says that he doesn't fear Babu Owino, he will call for NDC. I know he cannot do that. He cannot call for NDC. Because what Babu Owino will do, Babu Owino will present himself also as a candidate to vie for the party leadership. I doubt if, Oburu Odinga can defeat Babu Owino in an election. Whether it is by the delegates, whether it is by the people, voters, voting. Because one, Oburu Odinga spent many of his years being endorsed by Raila. That is number one. Oburu never used to fight political wars. It was Raila who was fighting for him those political wars. Contrary to Babu Owino, Babu Owino has always been on the forefront. Being a student leader, leading Embakasi, and again, in Embakasi East, I think Raila Odinga lifted his hand once in 2017. But the rest, Babu has always been fighting alone. So the bottom line, whether Oburu Odinga calls for the NDC, I don't think he can defeat Babu Owino in an election within the party. Because even the results of the opinion poll from Infotrack says the opposite. Says that Babu Owino is popular than Oburu, the ODM party boss. Oburu is 10% popular. Babu Owino is 33% popular. Orengo is 4%. Gladys Wanga is 7%. John Mbadi is 1%. Meguna is 1%. So Babu Owino is the most preferred leader in the Raila succession card. In the Raila succession battle, Babu Owino is still a very strong force to reckon with. So Oburu should not try to call for an election in the ODM party. Let him vie for presidency, declare his candidature, and vie for presidency. Apart from that, calling for an election in ODM, he will be defeated early in the morning. Early in the morning. Kila mtu asome kwao. That was Rigathi Gachagua. Kila mtu asome kwao. I think we've tackled that. Let's look at another issue that's also trending. Let's look at another issue. Let's look at another issue that's also making headlines. Yes, I want to play here a short clip of a few seconds about Mwai Kibaki on education. Mwai Kibaki really loved education, but I think education should be for all. Let's listen in to Mwai Kibaki in his good years. Let's listen in.
Na mtoto pengine asome, pengine huenda ikawa hatujafanya, lakini hivi karibuni na tutafanya uchunguzi tuone kuna mtoto wa miaka fulani ambaye hayuko shule, naye baba yake atatueleza anamweka nyumbani afanye nini. Atakuwa yeye mwenyewe ameshajitangaza kwamba mwenyewe hataki nchi hii. Hakuna mtu anakaa nchi hii sasa isipokuwa yule anataka mtoto wake asome.
That's it. That was Mwai Kibaki. Mwai Kibaki loved education, and one of the things that Kibaki is being remembered with is free education, which William Ruto, Uhuru Kenyatta, all of them implemented. I think that's a story that has also touched many people around. So Rigathi Gachagua wore a security gear today while addressing a crowd at Kagio in Kirinyaga County after being tear-gassed earlier. And I've seen many people. So he put on a security gear. Alivaa ile security gear kwa kichwa. But many critics, pundits, those who always challenge Gashagua's style of politics are castigating him and telling him that even Raila never weared or put on that particular security gear. So Gachagua had put on a security gear, and I think Gachagua is right. If your life is in danger, you protect yourself. If you don't protect yourself in Kenya today, you will die. So you have to protect your life. As a leader, I think he must also, apart from boosting his security, he must protect his life. This is a very sad story, by the way. Today, I don't know, it was yesterday, 12 hours ago, today. So a woman died while addressing her workers on Monday. This life is nothing. One moment you are alive and happy, the next you are not breathing. So a woman died today while addressing her workers. Very sad indeed. Very sad indeed. These are very devastating photos. Let's listen in. A woman died while addressing her workers. Let's listen in a few seconds. So a woman died while addressing her workers. It's a very sad picture over there. Very sad, very sad, very sad, very sad, very sad. So in this life, it is God. It is God. Thank God if you are alive. Pray every day. Sleep. Eat well. Smile with people. Smile around. Talk to people. Because you never know. You never know about tomorrow. You never know about what will happen next. So ensure that you live your life fully. Live your life fully. Live your life to God. Pray God. Pray for others. Don't just pray for God to bless you alone. As you pray, pray for God to bless others too. All right? So this is how it should happen. National schools should, reserve 30% slot for children living within the community. 30% slot. For instance, Alliance High School, 30% slot should be reserved for children living within within that alliance, that village, within. So Rigathi Gachagua issued a very important point, and not tribal. The problem is, if Rigathi Gachagua talks, many people think that is tribal. They forget that Gachagua is articulating a government policy or is talking about an issue that concerns or carries the weight of every Kenyan. All right. So I think Gachagua on school placement, Gachagua to some extent, Gachagua was somehow right. Okay, to some extent, I think Gachagua was somehow right. To some. Another story that I also want to look into. Another story that I also want to I also want to look into. This is a statement from Farah Maalim. Even though I had covered Farah Maalim's story late in the day and also yesterday, but let us do it again. All Kenyans will protect William Ruto if USA President Donald Trump tries to arrest him. I don't think if all Kenyans will protect President William Ruto if Donald Trump comes to arrest him. Here is the reason. You see, the expectations Kenyans had on William Ruto before he became president were very high. The expectations Kenyans had bestowed upon William Ruto or on William Ruto in 2022 when he became president were very high. As we speak, the expectations are very low, and I think he has to pay he has to pay pollsters to state that he is popular, or rather is leading in Western Kenya, in Nyanza. He has to stage the pronouncements from the opinion pollsters. You see? So let me just answer Farah Maalim. Let me react to Farah Maalim's statements that if Trump decides to come for Ruto, to arrest Ruto, Kenyans will not allow him. Kenyans will allow Trump. Kenyans don't love William Ruto as we speak. Kenyans don't have confidence in William Ruto. They are waiting for the united opposition to unveil a presidential candidate. It will not end well for Ruto politically. It will not end well for Ruto politically. And this is what I said. William Ruto should address the concerns of Kenyans. The concerns of Kenyans. As far as I am concerned, and you are concerned, and we are concerned. Guys, I think that is what we have for today. Tomorrow is another day. Same time. Same moment. This is the Political Room. My name is Moses Otieno. And we have to call it an end. We are calling it an end. We are calling it an end. I think until next time, probably tomorrow. My name is Moses Otieno. But before I go, I am going to vie for the presidency of Kenya in 2027. Miguna. Again, this is what Junet Mohammed wrote on his Facebook page. The ODM party will form government in 2027 or be part of the coalition that forms government. The ODM party will not be in opposition. So that is where we have ODM Kieleweke and ODM Tangatanga. Guys, it has been a nice moment to be with you. I'm very humbled before you. I'm very happy with the overwhelming support that you give me on this platform. Otherwise, without much ado, allow me to say thank you. It's the end for today, for today's show, and let's see each other tomorrow. Until next time, goodbye for now. Once again, let me tell you my name. My name is Moses Otieno. Until next time, bye.